Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Conscious Living Show. My name is Patricia Hamilton, and today my guest is Debbie Paull. And Debbie and I have known each other for a very long time. You've been in the health and wellness industry for more than 30 years. And I believe I remember you from a long time ago in Fremantle when we used to, I used to come and see you for beauty therapy.
That's it.
And I'm just so impressed with the journey that you've been on and where you are now and what you're actually offering. So I just wanted to share with everyone a little bit about Debbie's background before we get started. So she's had extensive training in many modalities, hypnotherapy, EFT, bushflower remedies, past life regression, as well as Tony Robbins coaching. And her latest modality is Spinal Flow. So I want to delve down and talk a little bit more about past life regression. I'd love to know more about Spinal Flow and the 6 human needs, which is part of your coaching program. So just to get started, I know you were telling me that you were a single mum and you've been working all your life really to support your family and to do your own training and get developed as a practitioner. So I'm very impressed, and I'd like you to just share with us a little bit more about, you know, what your background has been and your journey, just in a few words or whatever.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. It has been a long journey. I really started 18 years old in the beauty industry. I think I was lucky enough to swing more towards the alternative type of therapies from the very beginning and around a lot of people. And my salon was in Fremantle. So I had a lot of clients and friends that were already learning alternative modalities. So it's been part of my journey from way back, even as a young beauty therapist. And over the years, I've just can't stop, you know, I just want to continue to learn. And it's just, I'm like a little sponge, you know, even through raising my kids, I did the TFT, reflexology, the bushflower essences, and worked with my children with it as well. And I just kept plodding along until they're now old enough and they're not at home and doing their own thing. And so, yeah, I've just expanded everything. Probably, I think it was about 4 years ago, I had an episode with stage 1 cancer and breast cancer. And it just kind of, again, woke me up to a whole lot of new learning. And that took me on the journey of hypnotherapy, which is what I'd been wanting to do for many years, and it interested me for a long, long time. Another story and another time I'll tell you about when I was 10 and hypnotized some friends at school. So it's kind of, I've done a massive big full circle to where I feel I need to be. And now I know my journey is about my truth, speaking my truth, helping people to find their own truth as well. So yeah, it's not over yet. I'm still continually training and sharing everything with my clients, and I love it. It's wonderful.
So what sort of hypnotherapy training did you do?
I did all my training with Tony Collins. He's up in Queensland, and a great teacher. And so he taught me past life regression, life between lives, which is all about your very last past life. So with that, we can find out through that past life what actually happened, and then go to the 5th realm, and we talk to all of your own spirit guides and elders, and we work out what it is that what it was that you had to learn from the last life that you didn't learn, and why you brought it into this lifetime. So,
and sorry to interrupt, how important do you think that is for someone who's going through clearing blocks and wanting to do some personal growth to get in touch with that most recent past life?
It's super, super important. If you have a major block in your life, it could be anything emotional, it could be relationships, it could be health, it could be anything. Yeah, it will unblock. So it's like a little jigsaw puzzle, past life therapy. It puts all those little pieces together, and when you're thinking, why do I keep doing this particular thing? Why do I keep having this block? Why do I keep choosing the same man? Why do I have so much loss in my life? So many questions that we ask ourselves on a regular basis, and the past life therapy will help you discover all of that. We go back to a life where it's in just a past life therapy. We go back to that life where you want to know the first time you had the loss, because that is a lifetime that you didn't finish properly. Your soul left the earth plane, but it wasn't actually completely, you didn't completely sort it out. So you're carrying it with you again and again, and it could be through so many different lifetimes that you've carried it, but you've brought it into this lifetime. You wanted to learn it. You have to take responsibility for yourself. And this is what past life therapy is all about as well. Owning your own stuff, dealing with your own stuff and understanding that you actually planned this before you got here. From your parents to your siblings to all the heartaches. We've planned it all. So, we have that time when we talk about crossroads in our lives. You can go one way or another. So, you can either choose to be maybe an addict, or choose to become unwell, or whatever it may be, or choose the path of success. So, it's everything is a choice. And of course, if you choose the addiction, or you choose to continue on making the same mistakes, you're clearly going to have to come back and try again.
So do you see that it is about learning lessons, or,
it's all about your lessons.
Yeah.
We have one particular purpose lesson in life, in this lifetime. We have a lot of similarities in some of our lessons, but there will be one main purpose and one main reason. And it's really not to do with your work. It's to do with your truth within yourself. It could be your self-esteem, your self-worth, boundaries. There's 12 different main lessons that we have that we need to learn, and there will always be one particular lesson that stands out over the rest. So you can have, one past life is great, but if you've got a few things coming up, you may need 4 or 5 different past lives to really get to the core of what it is that you need to learn. Yeah.
So what are those 12 particular life lessons? Are there specific ones, or are they different for every person?
Oh, they'll be different for each person, yeah. Yeah. One will be more, for example, in the beginning, I actually thought mine was all about my self-worth. It was a struggle for many years. And so through having past life regression with one of my colleagues, I've done so many now, but we kind of kept delving into different areas. And the last one I actually worked out, it's more about being in my truth. It's speaking my voice, it's speaking how I want to project myself, how I want to get all of my messages across, and staying within my truth, And so what I thought was my goal and my main lesson actually wasn't. But the self-esteem and the self-growth has come with it as well.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of women I know who've had those traumatic past life experiences where they were prevented from speaking, teaching, sharing their wisdom.
Yep.
And that's affected a lot of us in this, right up until now. And now's the time for us to really have we have the freedom now where it is safe to express our truth. So
Absolutely.
it's pretty important, isn't it, to
most
clear the
of the
blocks?
time, Yeah, most of the time we actually do come back in female form when we need to learn these lessons.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And you said that you had one particular experience that really got you interested in doing past life therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
The breast cancer?
Yeah, you were just telling me the other day about the importance of doing this work and what motivated you to do the training.
Yeah, I think that was a big motivation for me. I was really lucky that I didn't have chemotherapy. I chose not to do radiation therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a really good oncologist that worked with Chinese herbs. And it did open my eyes. I mean, I always thought I had a grip on everything, but menopause changed a lot of my hormones, and I know I fell into a depression. And through a lot of the readings, alternative type readings, I do believe that your cancer cells can be kind of created, changed, developed through depression.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Because there's an epidemic of depression right now, and there is a growing epidemic of cancers of one form or another.
Yeah.
And there's that connection, isn't there, with the emotional body, that any scars and traumas are held in the body, and that gives rise to, that creates disharmony in the cell function and can give rise to the growth of cancers. So everything is so connected, isn't it? Like, that's what you were sharing with me about the body and the mind and the spirit. You can't just work on one without the others.
No, which is what continually inspires me to grow as a therapist. I think after doing all the hypnotherapy work and have also done a lot of hands-on modalities, Reiki in the past, and other hands-on type of modalities, I felt like I needed to shift again, and that's when Spinal Flow sort of showed up. And this is all been created by a fabulous chiropractor, Carly Axford. And so she's really taken the whole chiropractic access points, nervous system to a whole new level of healing without all the cracking and the adjustments that we've had in the past by some. I'm not saying chiropractors are great, but this is just a more gentle technique of healing the body emotionally, physically, and chemically. So there is no pain, and we will be doing a demonstration at the festival. So we're really looking forward to that. And we will also have access for people to come along and have sessions at our stand. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So with the chiropractic, like, most people go to see a chiropractor because they've got some, my neck's out of place, or whatever. So it seems like most people go, it's purely physical. But are you saying that those situations actually are caused by deeper imbalances, perhaps?
Well, everything everything that I do is energy. We are energy, so it's energy work. So your spine, you've got your chi energy running up your spine. So if that is blocked in certain areas, and with Spinal Flow, we have 7 gateways. So your pause, your passion, your power, all your center, all of these, your base, foundation, all of these gateways represent something within your system, within your body. Your passion and your pause, that's all emotional. And then your power center is all your gut, your digestive problems. And then your base is usually a lot of that's all physical. So we can hold it in different parts of our spine. So when we're doing Spinal Flow, we're working with 33 access points, mainly around the coccyx and the foundation, and up through around your head. And just by very gently touching these blocks, which intuitively I find, I'm not healing anyone. The body heals itself. So by just touching these blocks, it will actually send a message to the brain and then back to where the body needs to be healed.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, anything like somatic therapy that involves touch, I think is so important, you know, because people are very, we were talking about this the other day, the disconnection that's occurred through the pandemic and people being more wary of being in close contact with other people, means that a lot of people are actually deprived of touch, and particularly people who don't have partners or, you know, that they're on their own, they don't get that regular touching. And I think that does give rise to a lot of depression and anxiety on its own, because it isn't natural not to be, I think, with human touch.
Absolutely. And also it's a pretty relaxing, it is really relaxing, this session. I do get you to work at certain points where you have to release some emotional blocks, and that's usually through voice and sound. So that can change your vibrational energy that's going on. But a lot of people, I find their posture, you know, like their neck is kind of like completely disconnected to their spine. So there's absolutely no flow going on there for their energy and for their body to heal in any way. So that's what we look at to start with. We look at the breath. We look at the breath that's coming up through the spine from the base up. And a lot of times, around your top part, your gateways, you'll find they're blocked. And that's all coming back to your heart, and it's coming back to your emotions, and everything is connected.
Well, it sounds really beautiful. I'd really like to have a treatment. It's very, very attractive.
You'll have to, definitely.
And also, I'd like to know a little bit more about these 6 human needs that you were sharing with me that came through the training that you've done with Tony Robbins. And that's part of your coaching aspect, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I can do all of this separately, but I do like to do them in packages because I am working with mind, body, and soul. So often, you know, someone might come to me for some spinal flow, and then something will always come up where they'll need just a little bit of help with unraveling some of their beliefs. And so strategic intervention is a really important thing to actually change people, give them new ideas on how they see things, more positive about how they see their future or what's going on in their life. Now, that will all relate back to your 6 human needs.
And they are?
They are, you've got certainty.
Certainty, yeah.
Certainty is all about, you know, your home, your environment,
security.
Are you going to work, security, your job, your pay, all of that. And of course, that's just has gone out the window for so many people at the moment, where they've lost their job or they've lost their businesses or they can't pay their bills. So certainty's gone. And that can actually cause so much anxiety by not having the certainty in your life. And then you've got variety as well, where you actually kind of need a little bit of uncertainty and variety to give yourself a little bit of a challenge in life. So that's really important as well. And then we have the love connection. Love connection is all about your relationship with people. You have significance, which is, I think, one of the most important ones. If you don't feel good about who you are, what can happen is we can start to manipulate to get that need. Because all of these 6 human needs, every single human being worldwide has these needs, and they need to be met. So if they're not met in a healthy way, we can manipulate to get them met. And that's when patterns and habits begin. And you know, you can whether it's to do with something that happened in your childhood or how you tried to get attention from your parents, to, you know, coming from a family with poverty, not having enough, not being seen. So we actually then start manipulating to get that need to be met. And that can cause some really long-term patterns and trauma for people. So, and of course, we need to give back. We need to give back. So that's growth is a really important one as well. We need to always grow, and we also need to contribute. So, you know, contribution is a really big one, especially at the moment with a lot of people are frightened to, you know, we're so worried about ourselves and our financial situation, our emotional situation, that we forget that we actually have to see what our neighbours are doing, you know, and we have to see what the lady across the road, is she okay? Or work colleagues. We've kind of like, all of our needs are just like gone AWOL with this pandemic. So, and I just don't think people understand that the needs, then like I said, then it's very easy to manipulate to get these needs met. You know, tantrums are a good one. So yeah, we overlook what our needs are, and so once I establish what the need is that's not being met, we can then start working on some new strategies, and we can work on getting rid of the emotional blocks. And then if there's a past life that needs to be dealt with, where you know that that's come from a particular thing, then we can go back to that past life, and it will just completely unlock it, and it's like a real aha moment. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, what I like about the way you work is that you're able to really go with someone on the journey and provide them with whatever they need to heal themselves, to come into the fullness of their own truth and love. And you also you're happy to talk with people and have a consultation initially if someone's interested to address some issues. So
my consultations are free, 30 minutes. If I do get time at the festival, I'll definitely try to make time to sit down with anyone that is really keen to get there. And of course, all the hypnosis and all the coaching can all be done online.
Oh, really?
So it's all hypnotherapy is great. I've been doing it with a lot of people in Melbourne through this COVID period, and just helping them with their, you know, just a lot of the anxiety and separation anxiety. So,
and what about past life regression? Can you do that online?
Yeah, I can do that online.
It's amazing, isn't it? That, you know, before we were so, you know, used to having to do everything in person, and now we realize that we can accomplish the same results without having to leave our home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And you know, and all the new strategies and beliefs and things and tapping, all of that can all be done online. So you don't, you know, if you're not close to me, then that's fine. We can set times up and away we go. Yeah.
Well,
day or night.
It's fantastic, because I know there'll be a lot of people tuning in from all over Australia and around the world. And I just know that it's so valuable to actually get to know you and how you work with people and get an insight, because, you know, you need trust, I think, when you're working with a practitioner. And there's a whole, you know, variety of people out there offering services, but my experience is that not everyone has got the depth of experience and real truth and integrity. And I think that really comes through what you're sharing and what you're offering, because it's not just a weekend course that you've done. It's been a lifetime of learning and training and experience that's gone into what you're able to offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm really confident with my work now. I also think, because I've experienced so much myself, and I haven't ever stopped wanting to learn about who I am So I feel like when I'm working with someone now, I can actually really help people in their own truth instead of, it's actually really not about the money. I do a lot of freebies because, it's usually people that kind of need that help the most, that actually really are struggling financially. So if we can turn that around, and just, I think the most important thing is, and I'm really, I have a really strong boundary on this, and that is that you have to take responsibility for yourself. So I kind of like to work with people that are really going to commit. You can't just sort of have a couple of spinal flow sessions and, oh, well, that didn't work, or one past life regression, oh, well, yeah, I guess so, but that was a really weird life. Well, actually, it probably was, but, it was your lifetime. So own it. And so, yeah, I kind of don't beat around the bush. So, yeah.
And I think my observation is that people nowadays, they're a lot more serious and a lot more committed to their own spiritual growth, personal growth than previously. I think the shift that's happening at the moment has meant people are facing up to who they are and what the truth is. Before, we were able to perhaps think everything was going to carry on in a lovely way, but it isn't carrying on in a very nice way at the moment. There's a lot of challenges for people. So I think that's pushing us to be much more honest with ourselves.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you, what would you say, or what do you feel in terms of what's happening at the moment in the world and the pandemic? What's needed? I mean, what do you think is the most important thing right now for people, for individuals?
I think love connection is a really important need. And of course, as I said before, certainty, because there's just so many people that have lost what they thought was their life, was their income, was their journey, what dreams they had are now not going to be it. And they may be able to salvage some, but it's pretty hard to sort of have all of that taken away from you. And, we can see the bigger problem in Victoria and New South Wales, where every day their certainty is changed through the government changing it, or strategies that they're trying to bring in. And no one's really knowing if it's good or bad, but it's just so uncertain. And unless we have some roadmaps out of this, it's just going to continually get people, it's just going to be crash and burn for a lot of people. And then love connection does go, because they're so worried about the certainty that they kind of forgot that they actually really need to give out their love or receive love. And then, of course, growth. Growth is the most important thing right now. We're here to grow. We are here to learn, and not to rely so much on the money, not to rely on the materialistic things. It's all great. We all have to have a roof over our head and food in our bellies, but it's not it for what we're going through right now. I think there's a lot of messages underneath all of this that we have to kind of let go of, and I've had to let go of a lot of my beliefs of freedom and other things that, having to have the needle, the jab, and everything else that we're kind of being asked to have, whether I believe it or not. You know what? We need to get this country up and running again, and we need to move forward. And sometimes we just need to just go, okay, let's just grow as a nation, as the world. Let's look at everything differently. Let's not be so stubborn. Let's be a little bit more open. Let's just give it a try. And and I think that just will allow people to open their hearts, because that's what we need to do. We need to open our hearts and just allow everything to, and trust that everything is going to be okay. And of course, the biggest thing that's been going on is just straight out fear. Complete and utter fear. So, you know, that all comes when you don't have certainty in your life. So all of that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I really like that message that it isn't about being stubborn and being fixed with certain points of view. It's actually about being adaptable and open. And I also like what you said about the opposite of the, you know, having the uncertainty also gives an opportunity for new possibilities to emerge. And that's like, while the familiar has been kind of changed or removed, it leaves space actually for new creative expressions, whatever that might mean for you.
Absolutely.
And we can't rely upon the, you know, as you said, the financial, the economy, the society as it has been to deliver that. So I think it's actually quite exciting to grasp that sort of concept and energy behind it.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, if we can just, I think everyone just needs to kind of just stop and just think about what their life really was. Were they really happy? Was it what they really wanted? Do they really want to go back to that job? Or do they want to go back to all that stress and pressure and the financial commitments? We don't have to have all of that. I mean, we look at the people here in WA just traveling around now in their caravans, you know, and just moving around because we can't do anything else. We can't leave the state. So let's just enjoy it here in this beautiful place.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure, you know, and, you know, we've got so much food around us that we can eat vegetables, and we don't need to have fancy this and fancy that. But sure, it's nice to go to a great restaurant or a hotel for the night, but it's not right now. It's sort of like we need to come back to the basics of our 6 human needs. We really do. And we need to get them right for ourselves, because it will mean something different to everyone. We need to heal those traumas that have come from our childhood or from past lifetimes that we've carried into this lifetime, and, you know, really open our hearts and open everything to trust and forgiveness, and, you know, start fresh, because we're still alive. We're here, you know, so let's do it.
Yeah, and it's very much the theme of our event, you know, the Conscious Living New Earth Festival, because that is really what it's about. It's about coming back to Earth and being, you know, in a kinder, more loving environment where we can be ourselves and we can connect and share and start afresh in many ways, in small ways. It's not necessarily the big, fancy, as you say, super duper amazing things, but they're just small. I mean, small acts of kindness and small acts of sharing, which I think really come back to those 6 human needs and the sharing of love. And that's the certainty of knowing that we're part of this community and that we care for one another, and that everything is going to be all right.
Yeah. And growth within ourselves, you know, growth and taking responsibility for who we are. You know, we really need to own our stuff. Yeah. You know, you can't blame it on the government. You can't blame it on other countries. Or you can. However, it's not really going to get you anywhere. So how about just taking responsibility for who you are as that little soul? You know, not even in human form, just soul. We're here for a reason. We've been put here. We're here. So, you know, soul search, find out who you really are, and take it when the time comes when you do pass. you're going to be able to really go into that next lifetime with so many things healed and so much trauma. Just, I mean, a lot of this has brought up trauma for so many people that they probably don't even realize. There's anger, there's sadness, there's loneliness, there's so many negative emotions that this whole pandemic has brought up for people. So I think it's take responsibility for that, deal with it all, and bring in those needs that we need in a really positive way, so our hearts are singing.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Debbie. And
you're welcome.
The contact for Debbie is nidrawellnesscentre.com.au, and I'll put that up on the links after the interview.
.info.
Oh, sorry, nidrawellnesscentre.info. Yeah. And Debbie, of course, will be at Conscious Living Festival on November 20 to 21, and you'll be able to see her and have a Spinal Flow session. Come along and see the demonstration and the talk as well. And
of course, if anyone wants to, sorry, I'm just going to butt in there. If anyone does want to contact me prior to that, I am setting up the 2 days on the on your website, on the
profile.
Yes.
So
they can book those appointments, or they can message me on Facebook and we can make time. And I'm happy to put down that 30 minutes aside for someone if they really feel like they're coming along and they really need to just have a proper chat and see what direction they can go in. Yeah.
Oh, that's
chatting away.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good idea, because when you're coming, it's good to plan your day so you don't miss out, and make sure that you do come and see Debbie and have a session, Spinal Flow session, or have a chat. So make a commitment.
Absolutely.
Because that's what it's all about. And you'll get so much more in return when you do make that commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, great to talk to you.
Oh, thanks, Debbie. We must talk again. There's so much more to share.
And I will see you in a few weeks anyway. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks everyone for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. And in the meantime, have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.